क्यों? Wait a second. डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया है. Okay. So let us start our today's analysis class. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Hindu analysis class. This is me, Praveen Chaube. Again, I am here to discuss today's some important news article. Okay, so let us start with the first article of today's newspaper. Is this is very important article related with ancient. You can say that those species which are extinct from the surface of the earth. Now their footprint is discovered in India. Okay, the footprint of 3 dinosaur species found in Thar Desert. So in exam point of view, this is very important to know the which of the following 3 species name footprint was discovered recently in our country. The sand of time, the giant finds in Western Rajasthan are estimated to be 200 million years old. You imagine yourself that this is a 200 million year old. This is very old, 200 million year old. Okay, so this is the image where you see the footprint of dinosaurs were discovered recently found in Thar Desert. Okay, all carnivorous, all these species are belong to a carnivorous. Approximate weight is between 500 kg to 700 kg. Okay, so let's discuss in detail about this 3 important species. Article के बारे में detail में जाएंगे. So footprints, a footprint of 3 species of dinosaurs have been found in Thar Desert in Rajasthan's Jaisalmer district. Very important to note it down. Which place in Rajasthan, Jaisalmer district, proving the presence of giant reptiles in the western part of the state, which formed the seashore of the Tethys Ocean during the Mesozoic era. Now, remember a Tethys Ocean. This Tethys Ocean is actually a sea that is between the two super giant continent. One is called your Laurasia, and another one is called your Gondwana land. So remember, if you have gone through a Wegener's continental drift theory, then you must know that 200 million years ago, entire continent were part of the same landmass. So this is known as supercontinent, and the name is given to the Pangea. Pangea is the name of the supercontinent. Now this Pangea was split into 2 parts. Northern part is called Laurasia and southern part is called Gondwana. This, as you know, this Pangea is surrounded by the Panthalassa, huge water, whole water of the world, and this gap is now occupied by this water body, and which is known as Tethys Sea. Now this is the Tethys Sea. As you know, India is the part of Gondwana land. So it indicates that this is the part of your Tethys Ocean as part of the western part of India that is share the border with Indian Tethys Ocean, and this is the result when that part of was more greenery that time, and suppose this is indicate that this giant reptile was present 200 million years ago. Now the footprints made in the sediment or silt of the seashore later became permanently stone-like. Now it's become a permanently stone-like. Now its present is a permanently stone-like. Okay. Now they belong to the 3 species dinosaurs. This is important to note it down because in exam they can ask you which of the following species of dinosaurs are there. So like Ebrontus cf gigantis. Okay, this is the first species, Ebrontus cf gigantis, and Ebrontus glenorosensis. Okay, Ebrontes glenorosensis. This is called Ebrontus glenorosensis, and third one is called Gralater tenuis. So Gralater tenuis are third important species. These are 3 species of dinosaurs whose recently footprint was discovered in Thar Desert, and that belong to the Mesozoic era. Okay. The gigantes and this two glenorosensis species have 35 centimeter footprint. The footprint of the third species was found to 5.5 centimeter. Okay, so this footprint is a 200 million year ago old. Okay, so it was a time when a supercontinent was exist. All the India was the part of the Gondwana land, and at that time was when it was slowly continent were split it apart from each other, and this was the reason why the dinosaurs extinct from the surface of the earth because of a huge volcanic eruption. Earthquake was occurred that time because of drifting of the continents, continuous colliding with the other part of the continent. The dinosaur species are considered to be the theropod type with the distinguished feature of hollow bones and feet with the 3 digits. So feet with the 3 digits, bones, so is the main important characteristics. Okay, another one is called another species of dinosaurs called Eubrontes could have been 12 to 50 meter long and weight is 50 between 500 kg to 700 kg, while the height of the Grelatus is estimated to have been 2 meter as much as human with a length up to 3 meter. So these are some characteristic of the body feature of those species that was discovered in a third desert in dinosaur. Okay, so remember the name of the 3 species here. The next important article here is that related with the mangrove vegetation. Okay, and part of your environment. So expert flag diversion of fresh water from brahmani rivers. Okay, so high salinity could pose a threat to mangroves in Odisha, they say. You know why mangrove vegetation is important. Mangrove vegetation is very important because it reduces the intensity of cyclone, it reduces the intensity of tsunami and sea waves that hit the coastal areas. And now this mangroves act as a protective, this act as a protective means they act as a protective layer that protect the entire coastal area from such type of storms. So protection or conservation of this mangrove vegetation is very important. Okay, so recent experts say that diversion of river Brahmani main cause for the that cause for the entire degradation of the mangrove vegetation of your Odisha. Okay, so let's discuss in detail. So Vitarkanika is a Ramsar site. Okay, Ramsar wetland. Okay, there is the part of also disturbed. So recently, some environmentalist activities pointed out that Odisha's Vitarkanika National Park is under severe threat. Okay, so remember Vitarkanika National Park is in Odisha. It is under severe threat due to the planned diversion of fresh water from Brahmani basin. So Brahmani is an independent river that drains into the Bay of Bengal. Very important river. So why this is a concern for a diversion of the river and cause for the means most of the part of the national park is now disturbed. Now excess water allocation for industries which is likely to reduce the fresh water discharge to the sea. Okay, excess water allocation to the industry. So whatever the water is allocation to the industry, that is also discharged to the sea. Okay, fresh water discharge to the sea. The lack of normal flow of fresh water would increase saline ingression upstream. It would affect the local flora and fauna as well as livelihood of the farmer and fishermen depend on the Brahmani and the Srota of that is the tributary of Brahmani river. So those local livelihoods means per person who are depend on this river, their livelihood is also affected because of divergence and increase in saline aggression. Salinity is more deposited there, and this is help this further decrease the productivity of the land also, as they're not able to get a proper yield in agriculture. They are not able to get a proper yield, so obviously this will be lost for the farmers. Okay, that's why this is a more concern. So there could be a quantum increase in the man crocodile conflict also, since the estuarian crocodiles would leave the core sanctuary area and migrate upstream once salinity increases. Okay, because the salinity increases, they now started to move from those area to a man settlement, human settlement. Human settlement वहां पहुंच रहे हैं. And because of this reason, man crocodile conflict started. So man animal conflict start when animals start from their journey from their natural habitat, they enter into a human settlement. Now reduction in water discharge will reduce the mangroves. Without the mangrove, the Gahirmatha marine sanctuary that is famous for olive ridley turtle, okay, वो भी disturb होगा, become marine desert. Nutrients from Bhitarkanika are flushed out the Gahirmatha marine sanctuary, which attract the world largest population of olive ridley sea turtles for congregation and nesting. तो ये एक याद रहना है कि भितरकनिका नेशनल पार्क and Gahirmatha marine sanctuary both will be affected. Now let's talk about some point about the river Brahmani. So it is a northeastern Odisha state, river flow in northeastern Odisha state, formed by confluence of Sank and South Koel river. So दो रिवर के कॉन्फ्लुएंस से बनता है, ब्राह्मणी रिवर का है, संख एंड साउथ कोयल इन सदर्न बिहार स्टेट. The Brahmani flow 300 miles. It winds generally southeast past Bunagarh and Talcher, and then turn into join northern branch of Mahanadi River, which then empty into the Bay of Bengal at Palmyras Point. It is one of the few rivers that cut across the Eastern Ghat, and it has formed the minor gorge at Rengali, where dam has been built. So some points about the river Brahmani. This article read with your polity, where we'll talk about Supreme Court collegium cleared 68 names of High Court judges. Now, important for prelims exam, and you should also know how judges of Supreme Court, High Court is actually appointed. उनको appoint कौन करता है, उनका appointment का procedure क्या है, ये सारे चीज पे हम लोग बात करेंगे. So Supreme Court collegium cleared 68 names for High Court judges. Okay, so let's start. So in a recent meeting, the Supreme Court collegium tried to fast track the clearance of appointment of High Court judges belonging to both bar and judicial services. Now it will be reviewed by the Union Minister of Law and Justice. So remember, after the name cleared by the Supreme Court collegium, it is also reviewed by the Union Minister of Law and Justice. Now, appointment procedure of the High Court judge. How the High Court judges are appointment? So it is under Article 217. Article 217 of the Constitution. It states that the judges of High Court shall be appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the state. So Article 217 क्या कहता है कि how the judges of the High Court is appointed. Judges of High Court is appointed by the President, and President will consult with the Chief Justice of India along with the Governor of the state. Very important. In the case of appointment of judges of other than the Chief Justice of High Court is also consulted. Okay, if suppose this is the case of Chief Justice of, who will the Chief Justice of High Court? So in this case, President of India will appoint a Chief Justice of India along with the Governor of State. If judges of the High Court is appointed, in such case, President can appoint Chief Justice of India plus Chief Justice of that High Court and Governor of the state. Okay, so this is very important. You must this difference, because maybe in exam you will be confused. So if his question is about how the judges of the High Court is appointed, in such a case you can say that this is by the consultation of Chief Justice of High Court and Chief Justice of India along with the Governor of State. Now the consultation process क्या होता है इसमें? High Court judges are recommended by the collegium systems. This collegium system is comprised by Chief Justice and two senior most judges. Okay, two senior most judges. So collegium system is basically comprising Chief Justice of India and two senior most judges. The proposal, however, is initiated by the Chief Justice of the High Court concerned in consultation with the two senior most colleagues. Now the recommendation is sent to the Chief Minister, who advises the Governor to send the proposal to Union Law Minister. So this process is very important to understand. And then judges of the High Court will be appointed. The evolution of collegium system in India. So how collegium system was evolved in India? So it is a system of appointment and transfer of judges that have evolved through judgment of the Supreme Court. So it was evolved through a judgment of the Supreme Court time to time, but not by an act of the Parliament or by provision of the Constitution. So collegium system is not given in a constitution. Okay, it is just by a judgment of the Supreme Court. तो ये जो system बना है, this is by time to time judgment of the Supreme Court. It is also not by any of the act bill introduced in the Parliament for collegium system or by through the Constitution. So it is by the judgment of the Supreme Court. Now, first judge case, that is called 1981 case, when Supreme Court declared its verdict. It declared that the primacy of the Chief Justice of India recommendation on judicial appointment and transfer can be refused by the President, and consultation does not mean concurrence. So in first judge case, it declared that the primacy of the Chief Justice of India recommendation on judicial appointment and transfer can be refused by the President. The power given to the refuse by the President, and the consultation does not mean concurrence. Okay, it is not mandatory to follow by the President. Thus, ruling gave the executive primacy over the judiciary in judicial appointment for the next 12 years. Okay, then second judge case, in 1993, Supreme Court introduced that collegium system, holding that consultation means concurrence. Okay, consultation means क्या है कि उनको follow भी करना है. So it added that it was not the Chief Justice of India individual opinion, but an institutional opinion formed in a consultation with the two senior judges of the Supreme Court. So sole opinion of the judges is Chief Justice of India is not will be happen. We must be consulted with the two senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Okay, this is under second judge's case in 1993. Third judge case में क्या है? Supreme Court on President's reference expanded the collegium to 5-member body comprising the Chief Justice of India and 4 his senior most colleague. For example, a transfer High Court judges. In case of High Court judges, the Supreme Chief Justice of India consult with the collegium of 5. Okay, to 5 member, up to 5 member तक उसको बढ़ा सकते हैं. Okay, Chief Justice of India खुद होंगे and that also with the 4 other persons or the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. Now, issue involved in the appointment. What are the issues right now faced all over the India regarding appointment of the judges of High Court? First one is called cumbersome process. So there are inordinate delay in the appointment of High Court judges, and it led to the many of the cases. There means not properly not on a time they are appoint the judges. उसकी वजह से क्या हो रहा है? Cases काफी pending हो रहे हैं all over the India में. कोई ट्रांसपेरेंसी नहीं है कि what is the procedure, exact procedure is follow for the appointment of judges. There is no objective criteria for selection of, and people come to know about judges only after selection. It also promote nepotism in the judiciary. तो कोई ट्रांसपेरेंसी है नहीं. In proper representation, certain section of societies have higher representation, whereas many vulnerable section have nil representation. So these are some problems related with the appointment of judges in the of the High Court and Supreme Court. Now attempts to reform, very कुछ reforms लाने के लिए हैं कि कोशिश भी की गई है कि how to improve the conditions. So the attempt was made to replace collegium with the National Judicial Appointment Commission in 2014 through the 99th Constitutional Amendment Act 2014. However, the Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court declared National Judicial Appointment Commission in 2015 unconstitutional. So declared unconstitutional in 2015, citing that it violated the basic structure of the Constitution of India on the ground that it posed a threat to independence of judiciary. So remember, independence of judiciary is the basic structure of the Constitution, and this was declared in the Keshav Bharti case in 1973. That if any part of the Constitution which is part of the basic structure, that should not be a violate, that should not be a that should not be taken away by the executive actions. Okay, now what should we do in future so that the this type of judgment, this type of appointment should become more transparency, and the problems should not be further rise, and the cases can be solved in a time. So it is high time to think of permanent independent body to institutionalize the process of adequate safeguard to preserve the judiciary independence, guaranteeing judicial primacy but not judicial exclusivity. Now it's time to create a permanent independent body जो कि इस सारे cases को, इस सारे procedure को follow करे, देखे how to appoint a judge of the Supreme Court, High Court in case of transfer. Okay, इन सारे चीजों को देखें. It should ensure the independent, reflect diversity, demonstrate professional competence and integrity. That should be maintained. That judiciary of India is known for integrity, very fair judgment, all this thing. That should be also not visible. Instead of selecting the number of judges required against a certain number of vacancy, the collegium must provide a panel to possible name of the president to appoint in order to preference and other valid criteria. So judiciary should be balanced accountability as well as independent provided by the Constitution. So whatever the provisions given in a Constitution, that should be followed by judiciary. Okay, and judges, number of judges required against a certain number of vacancy, the collegium must be provide a panel to possible name to president. Possible names should be given to the president so that they can appoint in order to preference. Okay, so this must be important for your prelims point of view, and exam, maybe in mains exam they can ask you question problems related with the collegium system and how we can improve the condition for the appointment of judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. Okay, so this is all for today's news. We'll meet you tomorrow again with a tomorrow newspaper. Okay, thank you everybody. Good night, take care.